Hi my loves, it's Mary, and in today's video I want to show you my note-taking methods from the past since my 7th grade when I was 13 till my 9th grade last year when I was 15. So in my first binder, I'm going to show you my biology notes from my 7th grade. As you can see, this is the entire notebook that I've used with all the lessons, literally. I ripped every single page out of that notebook and put it into this binder so you can literally see how I used to take my notes in class, how many colors I used, how many post-it notes and sticky notes. My biology class was my favorite because it was just so colorful and pretty and full of drawings. Actually, I loved this material. I remember this lesson about the brain. I know that I skipped this lesson because I was sick and I studied it alone at home, and in this way it was my favorite lesson because I didn't go to school to study it. I realized that I was able to study this lesson myself, and I don't know, it made me feel confident and proud. I remember that through these lessons I learned how to use flashcards. I remember that I'm not making them as I do now, like with a question on a side and the answer on the other one, but I was literally writing almost the entire lesson but summarized into only one particular flashcard, which was really cool. After that, I started taking my notes at home, and as you can see, I've used the left side of the page for titles or keywords or drawings and the right side of the page for my overall notes. It's almost like a Cornell method, but without the summary at the end of the page because I considered it useless at that moment. At that point, it was really easy for me to understand the lesson because it was summarized, but right now, when I look at it, it's just so colorful, I can't study. I can't even read it thoroughly. I don't know, it's just too colorful for my taste right now, but at that moment, when I was 13 years old, it was really good. You can see that I used a lot of bullet points and a lot of arrows or even hearts just to make the lesson shorter and a lot easier to comprehend. Also in biology, I started making some very small mind maps, which are so helpful and so useful. You're gonna see later in this video where those mind maps took me. Over here you can see a geography project from last year when I was in my 9th grade. And to be honest, I've had a fascination about sun and moon and even zodiac signs, and I've just incorporated everything inside. These are my notes for, I don't know, chem, physics, something. These are my notes for biology, and these are my notes for psychology. All of them I took last year when I was 15. And after that, right at the end of the binder on the last page are my history notes, or an attempt of making my notes. The second binder is entirely dedicated for Romanian, and you can see I have pages since I was 12 years old. Over here you can see that our teacher actually forced us to write all of those things, but I'm grateful because this is the way I actually understood them. And over here I also incorporated all the texts and everything I had to memorize for my exam at the end of 8th grade. You can see that I'm using a lot of post-it notes, sticky notes. I don't know, I used to write in the on sides, like on the margins, create color codes. Everything was so colorful. I tried to use the same method I used when I studied for biology, with incorporating a lot of visual tools. Last and final binder, you're gonna see this beautiful study guide that I absolutely love. And by the way, if you want to know more about how I made it or something, thumbs up and write me in the comments down below. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram if you want to see more of this sort of pictures with my study guides or with my methods of studying. So moving on, this study guide is especially made for my history exam in my 8th grade. You can see that it's not colorful almost at all. The only colorful things are the numbers, because I really needed to memorize the dates, and I've put them in some pink labels. But for the rest of the study guide, I've only used a black pen and a lot of arrows, bullet points, hearts, and numbers. In this way, everything feels a lot more lighter, and I've summarized 30 pages of notebook into only 4. So I think it's really interesting and useful. These were my notes for history when I was 15, like in my 9th grade. I've tried to use the same Cornell method without the summary box at the end. And what was really bad was that I tried to use only one color per subject, and for history the color was pink. So as you can see, I've used different shades of pink, but nothing else, and it was pretty hard to literally memorize all of those facts and keywords. After that, I tried to use less colors, but using the same method as you can see right here, and it didn't go well. After that, I've tried to make some, another type of summaries, and again, I wasn't able to study that. And finally, my favorite way of studying history for all of you who are on the same page as myself, mind maps. Please use mind maps. Learn how to make mind maps, and it's just mind-blowing for me. This is the only way I was able to study for my Olympiad in my 9th grade, through mind maps. You can see that I'm using the color blue, and I'm not highlighting everything. I'm only highlighting those pieces of information that I wasn't for the life of me able to remember. And that's it. In this way, I've actually learned the material with all the facts and all the key terms and the details. So give mind maps a try. Over here, I've written in English a few notes for a geography project when I was 13, and these were my notes for physics when I was 13. I hope it's physics. I don't remember exactly, and I didn't like the material and the subject at all. Then these were some things that we needed to understand for chem when I was 13, like in my 7th grade, and our teacher literally gave them to us. And right here you can see my personal notes based on those pages. I used the exact same method that I used for biology, but this is a little bit less colorful, and I understood it much better. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash a thumbs up down below and subscribe on my channel for more study videos and study with me's and planning videos and all of that stuff. I want to say in advance that I'm trying to upload more than once a week. Remember that I said trying because I'm not very organized with my videos, because this summer is a little bit hectic for me and it's really hard to have a schedule for YouTube right now. But remember to follow me on my Instagram and subscribe on my channel for more of this video, and hopefully I'm gonna vlog some of my trips this summer, so stay tuned for that. XOXO Mary.
Yeah.